Texas. It's some school districts like the super successful McAllen School District, the super successful Edinburgh School District, and I'm talking about career and technology. State of Texas needs, Lord knows how many hundreds of thousands of skilled individuals that know how to erect buildings and work on the innards of those buildings to provide the electricity and the plumbing and solder and weld stuff inside, and also create machinery, boats, and everything else. We need that career, that skill set of career and technology schools, and it's a public education system that's providing that. I want the same opportunities for the kids that are in private school. I want the same opportunities for the kids that are in homeschool as well. Don't you? I do. If the state of Texas is investing about $1 billion in these kids to be homeschooled, to be sent to private school, real money, real world jobs and money is waiting for kids at ports like Galveston, Houston, Brownsville, Corpus Christi, and all these other places that are building data centers and building chip manufacturing facilities across the state of Texas. I want those kids, highly educated, well-rounded kids who understand the founding principles of our nation. Could be at Catholic school. They understand the 10 Commandments. They understand how all those ideas from not stealing, not killing, not coveting, not lying, all those things that are taught to them at Catholic school or some private school or homeschooling. I want those well-rounded kids in the market. And the market right now is clamoring that they have some skill set for them to build stuff or cut stuff, weld stuff. You know where I'm going at. So where are we going to bridge that? I'm hoping that the legislative session 2027 covers that as well. Now on to data centers. Now that I mentioned data centers receive a lot of money, and this is part of the news pool from our friends over at Texas State that provide us the news. I appreciate them, especially now that the Fox receiver. If you guys are listening to KURV all the time, I wonder why Serge and Zach aren't playing like, and Fred aren't playing like Fox News top of the hour. Yeah, long story short, Power Punch on Thursday, it fried some of the satellite receiver equipment around here. So Fred and Zach and Joe been bending over backwards to get top of the hour news from Texas State or anything else to fill the gap, and I appreciate them for that. In the meantime, data centers has provided the information provided by our friends over at Texas State. Tax breaks for data centers started, and I'm today old. I did not realize that this dates back all the way to Rick Perry years, back in the early 2010s. Back in 2013, Governor Rick Perry signed a House bill that created tax exemptions for large-scale data centers to attract them to the state of Texas, okay? And offered 10 to 15-year sales tax exemption deals for investments that were like about $200 million or more. So back then, as you can imagine, back in 2013, there was hardly a data center everywhere. Right now, they're prolific. They're everywhere. Data centers everywhere. And Texas is quickly leading the charge. I think it's the state of Virginia that has the most data centers right now. State of Texas has managed to attract so many of them to the state. We will soon surpass Virginia in the number of data centers that will be available. So back in 2013, the state of Texas lost out on $14 million. They say the cost to the state of Texas, $14 million back in 2014 as a result of the new law that kicked in. Well, because we have data centers all over the place, we have $3.5 billion that may have come in on the sales tax side for $3.3 billion that would have come in for the 2028-2029 biennium, which is, on the sales tax, well, fine. That's money that won't be in the coffers. So, well, Serge, that's a lot of money, a lot of tax money that we should have charged data centers. Well, why don't you take a look at the benefit from data centers? And I'm not including the jobs. I'm not including the permanent jobs that are in the hundreds for each data center. Dozens and dozens of people, or hundreds of people that wind up getting real good, high-paying, permanent jobs that leads to mortgages, that leads to purchasing of vehicles, that leads to purchasing of extra toys for kids and Chris, all those things, the sales tax benefit. I'm not including that. Just look at the property tax benefit to the state of Texas as a result. Data centers in Texas generate billions of dollars in combined local and state tax revenue on the property side, local property taxes, making the majority of what data centers pay into the system. Now, for those who glom onto this report, oh, the state of Texas, we lost out on $3.3 billion in revenue for the biennium when it comes to sales taxes. Well, on the property taxes, we more than make up for all that exponentially. Now, imagine a world for all of you who hate data centers. You actually have no reason why you hate data centers. You just don't trust them. You bought into all the propaganda, leftist, Chi-Com propaganda. They want all these data centers in China. They don't want the U.S. to have any of them. But you bought into that, and you're squawking like everybody's squawk. Data centers bad. Quack. Data centers are at the end of the earth. Quack. Data centers will be the end of us. Quack. Okay, fine. You picked up on social media, and you're just hopped aboard that bandwagon. Take a time to educate yourself. Data centers in the state of Texas have provided an estimated $2.3 billion in combined local and property taxes for school districts and county. That was in 2024 when we had a few less data centers, $2.3 billion in 1 year. Likely north of that, I'll just be kind and round it up to maybe 2.5 for 25, maybe north of 2.5 for 2026. That's reaching the $10 billion mark alone in property taxes. So whatever it was lost out on the sales tax side or an abatement on and some privilege that was given to some of these, they more than make up in other property taxes and other taxes they provide, plus the employment that they provide that also generates taxes when they buy homes and they buy cars and they buy extra, as I said, toys for Christmas for the what kiosks because they have a really nice job over at that data center. Governor Abbott continuing his call, which is proper, and I'm all in favor and have been a big fan of because this is, like I've told you before, this mimics what President Trump called for about, I want to say, like 6 months ago, telling high tech to provide their own power, provide their own water. They can. The technology is there. Those who don't want to, find it, let them go somewhere else. But here in Texas, let's bend over backwards to keep the data centers, the chip manufacturers that will be providing their own energy and putting energy on the grid and also providing their own water. In fact, that is one of the positives of having data centers in the state of Texas. The data centers are pushing power grids, not only in Texas, but in other parts of the country, to hurry up. Whatever they had planned to improve their power grids, it's got to be done like now, as of yesterday. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Power for everybody and power that can be generated by the data centers, by the chip manufacturers. They can produce it. And in order to provide that load, the power grids are quickly having to improvise repairs and improvements to the power grid system in their portion. It could be northeast portion, could be the western portion, could be the central portion, with Texas having its own power grid. We need to. For the sake of our nation, for national security reasons, we must, absolutely, we must catch up. Accelerate the grid modernization project nationwide for the sake of our nation. China cannot beat us at this. We must win the AI race. We must win the data center race. I do not want to be enslaved by Chinese restrictions on data and us providing all this for the vehicles that are running on their own, the robots that are running on their own, all that technology that is on the future that we must conquer. Time is 9:22. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. This hour of the program is service of Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, ChamberlainLTD.com. Time is 9:24. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV, your station for the Astros there in Anaheim with the Angels 810 broadcast tonight. Thank you to Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women. Should the state of Texas expand its school voucher program? That will be the people poll question for today. You can write a thesis on Facebook. They don't restrict. I don't understand these people. Literally, they're like writing a small book, some commentary. No, I don't read any of that. I will read maybe at most, uh, maybe the top paragraph if it's short enough. I'll scan the next two if necessary. If it's engaging, I might go further down to see if there's anything interesting. But um, just in case you're one of those who you like to write a book on Facebook, nobody's reading. Nobody's reading that. I probably think you probably aren't either because I see some mistakes in there. Nobody's reading that. Shorter comments on X.com. And should the state of Texas expand its school voucher program? You can see the question at KURV.com as well. Thank you to Martin Randall, Total Imaging Solutions, for providing us the people poll question day to day. As I mentioned at the beginning of the monologue, good report on school vouchers for the state of Texas. You got 107,000 of the program, 69% are low income, 21% are kids with disability, some type of disability. And as I mentioned to you, I'm today old. I did not realize that only 274,000 people applied. So if the state of Texas wants to meet all the demand, I would think they only need to put a billion plus more into the program. There you go, to get more kids, more families that want to be in the program. You can suffice that need. So the people poll question at KURV.com, and you can also answer at the WhatsApp number, the WhatsApp connection. I got to stop calling it a number because some of y'all still calling when I mention this. Do not call, do not call, do not call. You got to open up your WhatsApp app, and you can send a message. You can type it out like a text message, or you can record it, audio, and send it to us. Should the state of Texas expand the school voucher program? Yes, no, why? The WhatsApp connection, 956 862 2482. 956-862-2482. That's the WhatsApp connection. Do not call me. No one's going to answer. Thank you for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV, the Sergio Show for a Monday.
found dead in a shipping container from a train car in a rail yard in Laredo last May. Another was left for dead near the track along the way in San Antonio.
One of those individuals frantically contacted their family as they were dying from the sweltering heat in that container.
Justin R. Simmons, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, says each of them paid between $1,500 and $10,000 only to die in the heat. 2 defendants are still at large. Simmons says the message is, don't come into the country illegally. You could die on the way. And if you make it across and into a stash house, criminal organizations can and will abuse you and extort your family members.
That is just a staggering amount of money. Híjole. They come here to make money. They already got that money to pay coyotes to come over. My goodness. And death toll continues to rise due to the historic flooding took place in South and Central Texas last week.
Governor Abbott with the sad news while in Cotulla, Texas, after viewing the destruction left from the flooding of the Nueces River.
On July the 20th, there was a report that in Valverde County, a report of a death of someone who was driving through high waters and got swept away and lost their life.
That brings the death toll to 3, all swept away while driving through floodwaters. Much like in Kirk County on Monday, Abbott toured flood-ravaged LaSalle County from overhead in a Black Hawk helicopter.
We saw destruction to homes. We saw destruction to infrastructure. We also saw signs, however, of people and communities already embarking upon the rebuilding process.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
Measles cases are surging in the country.
A Johns Hopkins University tracker for health data found there were nearly 2,300 confirmed cases nationwide as of July 22nd, passing the total recorded in 2025. Federal health officials say concentrated outbreaks have worsened in some areas of Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Utah, Texas, and Arizona. Most cases involve children and young adults between the ages of 5 and 19. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Where in the world is Mitch McConnell? Well, his staff saying, yeah, he's alive and well. The staffers for Senator Mitch saying that he's working while he's recuperating. I got to say, the string of memes and pictures they put up, the proof of life pictures on Mitch McConnell are hilarious. They put him as like a puppet. They put him next to Ronald Reagan. They put him next to JFK. It's vicious. It's cruel. But his staffers say he's working. He's working.
Members of Senator Mitch McConnell's staff say the 84-year-old Kentucky Republican is still doing Senate business while in rehab following his admission to the hospital 6 weeks ago. The longtime lawmaker was hospitalized initially due to a fall, but then developed pneumonia. That info wasn't shared for about a month. The staffer's weekend statement says McConnell is improving in rehab and that updates will be forthcoming. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Put it on the calendar. National Night Out is coming up next week. August 4th is the annual event. Some local police departments, they conduct it like later in the year, but for the most part, most PDs that participate, they might be participating next week on the 4th. Edinburgh CISD Board of Trustees will need a second round of interviews after failing to name a finalist for superintendent. That means that Adele Felix will continue serving as interim superintendent over Edinburgh schools. Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, and Jeff Kent. I just mentioned 2 Astros there. You recognize that? Jeff Kent and Carlos Beltran. They were the Astros at one time. They have been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Kent spoke during the ceremony in Cooperstown, New York.
Baseball was here long before me. It's going to be long after I sit back down. But standing up here with these guys sitting behind me, I've never felt more humbled and more grateful in my entire life.
Other Hall of Famers filled the stage to celebrate the new inductees. Beltran and Jones are only the 3rd and 4th center fielders elected by the Baseball Writers Association of America in nearly 50 years. Meanwhile, Kent is the first second baseman to join the Hall since Craig Biggio in 2015. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
All I remember of Jeff Kent was that home run blast. I want to say it was the 16th inning, and the Astros run to the World Series back then. And it was his home run. It was the walk-off home run that finally cleared the tie on that playoff game. I don't even remember the team it was. I just remember the home run. I would have enjoyed it more because it's like one of those memories that is a mix of happiness and sadness at the same time. Oh my goodness, I'm having a low T moment right now just thinking about it. My dad in our living room in his wheelchair, watching and cheering along the best he could, half paralyzed. Oh my goodness, my viejito. He's watching and celebrating with us, barely able to move. The Jeff Kent home run that won that playoff game. My goodness, it was happiness and sadness at the same time. Just like one of those core memories. Time is 9:45. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. You want to pay some bills now? No? Okay. So I got in the studio. In fact, you can tune in at 710 KURV, Facebook, X, and YouTube. You miss any of the conversation, do the rewind. Lydia Elizondo, Patriot. Lydia Elizondo, attorney in the studio. Bring up that microphone close to you, Lydia. I'm so glad to see you again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
She is running for district attorney in Hidalgo County, Republican. And there's a special event around the corner if you'd like to support Liddy. So I want to make sure to get that information out. Let's start with that because I'm going to forget. And hopefully we can repeat it at the end. So you got a get together coming up here pretty soon.
Yes. Yeah. This Thursday, July 30th at 6:30 p.m., we're having a fundraiser called Boots Bling and Justice for All. It's being hosted in at a private residence in Palmhurst, but everybody is welcome to come. It's at 1920 Hidden Pond Drive in Palmhurst, 78573. And while it is a fundraiser, donations are not required. What I would love is for everybody from the public to come out, talk to me, give me their concerns, and hopefully we can all get together and have a great night and talk about the bright future of Hidalgo County.
For folks who do not know Lydia Elizondo, why are you running for DA in Hidalgo County?
I'm running for DA because we need better than what we currently have. We need justice for everybody. There should not be any sort of favoritism or favors for people who are relatives or friends of the current administration. I want to put an end to what I call the friends and family discounts. Everybody should be treated the same. All defendants should be treated the same. All victims should be given the same sort of importance. And when you do favors, when there are favors done for certain individuals, then the victims in those cases don't get treated the way the victims in other cases get treated. Yeah. It's not fair to the victims. It's not fair to the other defendants who don't play the game. And it's not fair to the attorneys who don't play that sort of game. So those need to end. Friends
and family discounts. You know, like in most loyal clubs, the repeat purchases get the benefits. I hope it's not repeat offenders that we're looking at here.
Well, we've got some serious offenders who are not getting prosecuted who should be.
Yeah, well, so much for justice being blind. Huh,
it's definitely not blind, okay. Not in Hidalgo County, sadly.
What do you want to share with the folks running around town? Maybe examples, generically speaking, without
of course
slamming anybody.
Of course, no. There was a recent case that was dismissed where an adult found a minor online. And he got the minor to meet with him for a sexual encounter. There was eventually an arrest, but it was dismissed. The matter was dismissed. It would appear from the information that I have received from people who know what was happening, that the attorney, the current district attorney's right hand, one of his right hands, contacted the mother of the victim in that particular case and convinced her not to move forward with the charges. I don't know if the mother of the victim was made aware of the fact that the mother of the defendant actually works for the DA's office, or that the defendant works at a local law enforcement agency. So we've got somebody who reached out to a minor online, met for a sexual encounter, and that person works for a local law enforcement agency. And that defendant's mother works for the DA's office. And this matter has been dismissed.
And again, the DA himself aware of this situation? Has a complaint been filed to the top of the office to understand what's going on in this case? It's
my understanding that the DA is in fact aware of the situation, and that is why his right hand handled it for him. I would love an opportunity to speak to him publicly. Let's have a forum. Let's talk about it so that we can find out whether or not he actually knew. My information is that he did, but let's have a public discussion about it.
And that would be most welcome. Yes. Has one been scheduled? Have you extended an invitation to have a public conference?
I have not scheduled an invitation because there's a few more things that also need to be addressed. We also have, so I would like to put together a booklet of things that need to be addressed publicly.
All right.
There's another instance where a defendant was charged with assault, and it was impeding breath. And in this particular case, this defendant is actually a convicted criminal from another
Assault
state.
impeding breath means somebody's choking.
Yes, he choked the woman, and this is a very serious matter because when somebody is choked and you impede their breath, it affects the level of oxygen that gets to their brain. So we're talking about a very serious matter. And in this instance, this happened when the woman entered the home where she had been staying for the weekend. She had left to go run an errand, came back, found him in bed with another woman, was trying to leave, was attacked, and she left. She was brave enough. She went to the police to have charges filed. The woman with whom the man was having an affair, the woman with whom she caught him in bed, eventually filled out an affidavit indicating that none of it had happened, that she was there, and that none of it had happened. And the DA's office took that as gospel truth and dismissed the case. So are all defendants now able just to have somebody fill out an affidavit saying they didn't do it, and all charges against all defendants are going to be dismissed now? Because that's how low the bar is now being set at the DA's office. Was it that the prosecutor didn't want to try the case? I mean, this is a case that should have gone before a jury, and a jury should have determined whether or not the lady who filled out the affidavit was telling the truth. And here's another little aspect to that case is I had a woman call me, and I have a recording of this conversation. I have a woman who called me to tell me, I just want you to know that the lady who filled out the affidavit told me personally that she was going to do anything. She would do anything for this guy, including lie. So we've got somebody who has advertised that she's willing to lie for this defendant, who filled out an affidavit, and the affidavit never made it to a jury for a jury to determine whether or not she was telling the truth. And the DA's office just dismissed it. And he's a convicted felon from another state with an exact same charge, impeding breath.
Attacking another woman?
Yes.
And trying to choke her?
Yes.
To death?
Yes.
Wow.
And so these are the things that are happening right now in Hidalgo County with our current administration. And there are more stories that come to me. People call me and people give me information, and they give me case numbers. They give me things that make me believe this is all true. This is all really happening. And especially when the victims themselves tell me this is what happened. And so many women have come to me and said, I'm not getting any help. I'm not getting any assistance. And I think we when I was here last time, I don't think I had a chance to talk about this. The other thing that I want to do is I want for Hidalgo County to no longer be a safe haven for con men. Con men do not get prosecuted in Hidalgo County. They just run around loose, conning people out of their money, going forward with their scams, and nobody does anything about it. When I'm the DA, I want con men to know they don't have a safe haven in Hidalgo County any longer. And it happens all the time. People are constantly calling me about this.
Is there an example comes to mind?
Yes, we have people who are running around pretending to be reputable contractors. They're not. They're not reputable contractors. They tell little old ladies that they need their roof fixed because their insurance has lapsed and they're not going to be able to get their insurance back if they don't have their roof done. Turns out there's nothing wrong with their homeowner's insurance. Their homeowner's insurance is perfectly fine and in place, but they take money from them and then they don't do the work, or they do work that's so shoddy that people have to then go hire another contractor and spend twice as much money to fix what happened. They just walk off the job. They take materials. They take property out of people's homes, and local police departments are like, well, we can't do anything about it. Well, they stole from somebody's house. What do you mean you can't do anything about it? Well, but they were there to do another job, so we don't know but the homeowner's telling you they didn't have permission to steal those things.
Yeah.
Well, we're considering it a civil matter. How is it a civil matter when they steal from you? I had a seasoned prosecutor at the DA's office tell me that this was all ridiculous, that just because there's a civil remedy doesn't mean that there isn't a criminal remedy. You can move forward with a criminal remedy just because you can sue somebody. But let's take it a little bit further. If you're telling a little old lady, I'm sorry, there's nothing that the police department can do to help you, go hire a lawyer. With what money is this little old lady going to go hire a lawyer? With what money? They just stole all her money.
Yeah.
And so her money is now stolen. She doesn't have money to go hire a lawyer. A lawyer isn't going to do it on a contingency basis where they get paid if they collect, because what are the odds the con man's going to have any money left? Not when they're out spending it on, places of ill repute and liquor and paying for their pickup trucks and buying new tires, and they've blown all the person's money. So what money is there going to be there for an attorney to collect? And if there's no money for an attorney to collect, they're not going to go take on this representation. So there's no criminal remedy. There's no civil remedy. And so Hidalgo County has a flood of people calling me, telling me, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to my mother, this happened to my grandma.
Yeah.
And nobody will do anything about it. Not the police departments, not the DA's office. When I'm the DA, that's going to change. So it will no longer be a safe haven for con men.
And it's usually not one and done. It's
No.
usually a repeat offender.
Yes.
Same person that's preying on and just collecting money and blowing it. Yeah.
Yes.
There's got to be like a top 10 of probably of scammers that are out there.
Well, whenever I post about this, and I have one post where I posted, if anybody has complaints about this particular individual or this other individual or their businesses, please call me. I just wanted an inquiry to see if the public was going to respond. And it went viral. It has over 500,000 views and I don't know how many shares in multiple states. And so many people have written to me and said, "Can we have a copy of your lawsuit? Because we want to file also. This happened to us." And it's ridiculous how many times these people have gotten away with it. It's absolutely astonishing, and nobody will do anything about it.
Zach, give me a heads up. I think you need to break at 57 or something. Just let me know when you need out, because I'm blowing through the 50 break. Lydia Elizondo, she is running for district attorney in Hidalgo County, Republican. We got some political competition, and we do welcome a conversation with the current DA on issues that need to be addressed.
Yes, I do.
At the courturhouse, and I do hope that conversation takes place.
Me too.
And I hope it takes a place where I can take a microphone and sit down and either broadcast it or play it later here on KURV. We've got about a couple of minutes left with you. So again, a reminder to come and meet you.
Yes.
Tell folks where to go on the 30th.
On the 30th, this week on Thursday, please join me at my Boots, Bling, and Justice for All event. It's at 1920 Hidden Pond Drive in Palmhurst, Texas. If you have any questions, you can go to my Facebook page. It's Lydia Elizondo for DA, and it will be posted on there. You can also call me at 956-339-3639. And yes, I am the person who answers that phone call, and I am the person who returns those phone calls. So you can text me at that line, send me a message, send me something through Facebook, through Instagram, and all of the information will be there. And I'm happy to let people know whatever information they need. I'm happy to provide it. We're going to have T-shirts and yard signs and things like that for people to take if they would like to support. And again, it's a fundraiser, but you're not required to make any donations to attend. We just want everybody from the community to come out and let's talk about the issues facing our county.
The way the county's going as far as growth, the size of it, population-wise, like every weekend, just DWI cases alone is just it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, the DWI and the assault cases.
Yeah, well, man, the size that we have. Do you think it's a staffing issue, a budgeting issue? Maybe we need to grow the prosecutor's office by X amount in order to staff it properly and get all these cases through the books, get them through the courts, and mete out the proper punishment or fine.
We do need better funding, but also we need better management, because a lot of it's a revolving door. The staff get hired, they're there for a short period of time and they leave. They get more people, they hire a short period of time and then they leave. So the revolving door, I believe, is a symptom of poor management and bad leadership. And we need both of those things to change.
What is the reaction by the legal community, the powers that are out there, that you're shaking things up a bit and say, hey, we need some competition. We need these issues addressed. What's been the reaction so far? You running for DA?
Privately, people are supportive of me. Publicly, they're afraid to say anything. They're afraid that their cases are going to be jeopardized, and with reason, because I saw my cases being jeopardized before I left private practice after I decided to run. So they have reason to fear, but I don't operate from a place of fear. So it's not going to scare me. I'm not afraid of the current administration. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm here to speak for the people of Hidalgo County. I'm here to do better for the people of Hidalgo County. And I pray that they, with their votes and God, with his works, puts me in the position to do so.
How are you paying the bills?
So far?
Yeah.
Privately.
Yeah.
I'm self-funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm self-funded.
Wow. Well,
so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that people will come forward. I've had a few people donate here recently, and I'm very grateful for it. But when something matters to you, you do it.
Yeah. Thank you, Liddy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patriot, for standing in the gap and demanding accountability and providing competition. We don't have to rely on the old template. We got some competition in there. So soldier on, Patriot.
Thank you so much.
Come back and see us as often as you wish. Lydia Elizondo, Republican, running for district attorney in Hidalgo County. This is the Sergio Show on 710 KURV. Happy Monday, hour 2 of the program, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. And we're also broadcasting on the social media sites. You want to rewind there. I encourage you to go find us at Radio Para Mí. Go get the free app, Radio Para Mí, and that way you can listen on your smart device. We all do everything online. Well, might as well go get it. I can't do anything about the name, people. That was cooked a long time ago. That was baked a long time ago. It's we are, after all, a majority Spanish-speaking Spanish music. Spanish music for the most part, except for La Ley, which plays a bunch of banda crap. But everything else is it's okay. With Digital and their Mexican pop and the viejitas and all that stuff. Cumbias are great on the old stations. But La Ley with banda crap, no, that ain't music. But it's majority Spanish, and we're the redheaded stepchild of the family. Radio Para Mí. Go find us, and that we can do the rewind, whatever you want, when you listen to this. President Trump was asked on Friday about the lettuce-linked cyclosporiasis outbreak, and the president commented that he's threatening to impose major tariffs on Mexico because of the lettuce. Now, we've got thousands of people across the country that have been sickened. FDA saying that the FDA saying that the lettuce was sourced in central Mexico. The health minister in Mexico, of course, is going to deny this. Taylor Farms is a name that consistently keeps popping up in the news. Taylor Farms has closed their processing facility in Mexico. That lettuce was sold to a number of distributors nationwide, including Taco Bell, which begs the question. Now that the president's saying, Mexico lettuce came up, the iceberg lettuce came from there, and it had this beetle, this bug, and sickened a bunch of people. But I'm getting conflicting reports because in the news pool that we access daily, we have a former FDA commissioner in the news who says that the FDA does not yet have the cyclosporiasis outbreak under control. Are there still questions about where it was sourced? Because I'd figure if it was properly sourced, just throw away all the damn lettuce that came from that one distributor that came into the country. And one report I was doing the morning round robin, checking WBAP in Dallas and KTRH in Houston. One report from the gang up in Houston said, just don't eat. This is just me personally, and I'm referencing something I heard on one of our colleague stations up in Houston. The shredded lettuce seems to be the problem. It's somehow in the system. If it's in that lettuce, it'll be contaminated. It'll contaminate the rest of the batch. So anything that is bagged, shredded lettuce, stay away from it, which is fine with me. I'll get my own lettuce and wash it 10 times over before I use it. But I wanted to give you this update because I thought they had pinned it down. I thought it was just one source. And, of course, you know what it did to Taco Bell and the cleansing tacos or alleged tacos that they were selling there for a while. Of course, it hit them on the chin. The new concern now is shredded lettuce of any type, even if it's bagged. I think I'm going to stay away from that for the time being. The People Poll question for today, by the way, is based on one of the Texas reports that we have this morning. Should the state of Texas expand its voucher system, the education system, the voucher system? Yes, no on KURV.com. Eventually, we'll get the question up there for you. Thank you, Zach. Not that I doubt you. I know you got a billion things that you're juggling over there. I got to be careful with Miko. It's up. KURV.com. It's up. You were talking about the People Poll, right? Okay, good. So it's a KURV.com, yes or no vote. And on the social medias, eventually it will go up there as well. Okay, that's a yes. Okay, that one's for sure, eventually. Not that I'm doubting you. Okay, it's you can send your comment to the WhatsApp connection. Open up WhatsApp and text, write out a comment or a voice at 956-862-2482. 862-2482. There was a disturbing poll that was broadcast on Fox earlier today. I think it says so much about how radicalized, how lost Democrats are these days. And by extension, you, dear friend, you, if you are a Democrat and you proudly proclaim yourself as a Democrat, I feel bad for you, because I know that around here, especially here in Deep South Texas, a lot of this craziness that is expressed today by the modern Democrats, especially the Democratic socialist Democrat, whatever the hell that means, and some of the crazy ideas that they have, anti-American, completely tear down the entire system as is, do away with the Senate, do away with the legislature, do away with the presidency, do away with this, that, and it just completely, it's nothing but upheaval and revolution that these DSAs, these Democrat socialists, are advocating for. So Fox News ran a poll. They were asking people about their opinion, if they have a favorable opinion. They asked Democrats and they asked Republicans, do you have a favorable opinion of the Democratic socialists, the crazy wing in the Democrat Party these days, the ones that tan locos, they're lunatic. Almost 60% of Democrats, almost 60%, 59 and change, almost, we'll just round it out, 60% of Democrats have a favorable opinion of the Mamdani types, of the AOC types, of the Ilhan Omar types, all these crazies that are coming in. And the ones that are coming from New York are even more stupid. I think we're talking about the unemployed living with mom and dad who have absolutely no business experience or professional experience whatsoever, and they're the candidates for the Democrats who are going to Congress. They're going to be joining the squad next year. Because I don't see Republicans or independents in that part of the country, enough of them standing up and saying, oh, hell no, this is not going to happen. Kind of reminds me of State House 41 around here, where we got this young kid, this Bernie Sanders supported radical leftist quasi nouveau communist that we have running for State House 41, which you're welcome to join me in the studio, son. You're going to speak to me, maybe counter some of the rumors on how truly leftist you are and activist you are. Almost 60% of Democrats favor the Democrats' socialists. Over 52% of Democrats. Oh, and by the way, let me go back to the DSA, the Democrats' socialists. You know, in that Fox poll, 6%, I don't know if they didn't understand the question. 6% of Republicans, they have a favorable opinion of the Democrat socialists. 6%, like, who are these Republicans? Or did they not understand the question? Maybe they thought, yeah, maybe I would make that mistake. Yeah, I like these Democrat socialist dudes. They're destroying the Democrat Party. I'm all in favor for them. And maybe that's why 6% of Republicans said that they have a favorable opinion of the Democrat socialists and the Democrat Party today. Because maybe they're thinking that it's bad news for overall for the Democrat Party. Or what they love these ideas that much, and they're in the wrong party, the 6%. Anyway, socialism. Do you have a favorable opinion of socialism? 52% of Democrats said yes. And a scary 11% of Republicans in that poll said, yeah, they have 11% have a favorable opinion of socialism, which does not surprise me. You know, as my son said in a conversation the day with, well, you know, I've noticed that some of these, because he's 19 years old, he runs around with a younger set. And of course, his friends, some of them have like really stupid, radical, unworkable ideas, failed ideas on government control of public resources and distribution of all that, you know, socialism. But he likes his friends. He likes these kids. I don't blame them. They're his friends. And, well, that's what Winston Churchill said a long time ago, right? Something to the effect, you don't have a bleeding heart as a kid, right? You're not a liberal as a kid. You don't have a heart. If you're still a liberal and you're an adult, you have no brain. So I guess my boy talking with his friends, he said, well, they have a good heart, they have good intentions. It's just they have all the wrong ideas. And it happens sometimes. I'm not going to name him, but you guys who are within the Republican circles in Hidalgo County, I think you're familiar with a young man running for a state office, has a good heart, has deep roots in Christian ministry. But man, some of the things I would hear in some of these meetings, like advocating for, like talking points for the Democrat Party, more affordable medicine, more affordable clinics, more affordable, doctors. It's like, man, that's a lot of, like, what, the government is supposed to have control over that. The government's supposed to manipulate that somehow. A lot of Democrat ideas, and yet running as a Republican. I think only running as a Republican because of his social, moral, religious underpinnings that tend to have more of a support in an audience on the Republican side these days. So, on the issue of capitalism, Fox News poll, do you have a favorable opinion of capitalism? Democrats, what say you? I found this surprising. I thought the number would be much lower than this because I don't have any confidence whatsoever on the modern expression of the Democrat Party. Capitalism, 41% of Democrats have not lost all their marbles. 41% of national Democrats, they have a favorable opinion of capitalism. And see, I know there's still some brain power, some intelligence. I hope they get the you-know-whats, a pair of them, to actually fight. Not only for their party, fight for America, fight for the ideas of free market activity, of prosperity, of investment, of profit, of job creation, of growth. It's not going to happen through government. It's oh my goodness. It's like on one side, they advocate for bigger government, bigger control, and on the other side, they're advocating for free market and capitalism. I bet you many of these people who answered are probably business owners who have tried or in the management of business. But still, they're lost in the Democrat ways for whatever. And I found the following number surprising and how low it was. Fox News poll, do you have a favorable opinion of capitalism? You Republicans, what do you say? Zach, if you're still awake, boy, how many Republicans, what would be the percentage you say of Republicans that say have a favorable opinion of capitalism? Throw me a number. I would hope. Dude, this barely makes a D on the report card. 61%, Vato. Only 61% had a favorable opinion of capitalism on the Republican side. There is some scary erosion of intelligence that's taking place on the GOP side there. Wow. Everybody turn in your smartphones, your tablets, your computers, any smart device, any piece of technology that you enjoy, any creature comfort feature. Yeah, turn it in if you don't have that good of an opinion on capitalism. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So technically, they never really had. I will follow you there. Absolutely, amigo. Time is 10:22. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour of the program, a service of South Texas Buick GMC. Big thank you as well to Lone Star National Bank. Time is 10:24. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. Zach, let me play some audio. Check my computer real quick. Let me play some audio for you. Let me turn this thing off. Turn this sucker on as well here. So, man, I had it all wrong. I need to find out who it was and hit the home run in the 16th inning. Then Jeff Kent, formerly from the Astros, he's now in the Hall of Fame. He's 2000. Here's some audio from 2004. 2004 National League Championship Series, Game 5. And it was Jeff Kent, back with the Astros, who won it bottom of the ninth. There was a walk-off home run.
I think that's a safe thing to do with Kent at the plate. He rarely hits the ball to the right side.
Kent waits. In the air, we go to St. Louis with Houston in front 3 games to 2.
Yeah, it didn't turn out that well for him eventually. But that was a fun one, and I do remember my dad celebrating. He was in his little wheelchair there in their living room, celebrating that walk-off home run. Everybody was screaming in the house, and Dad was just raising his little hand, celebrating. New survey reveals that construction salaries in construction are booming, as construction is booming nationwide. Do remember that it was somewhere north of $18 trillion that have been committed by foreign investors in the United States, whether it's computer chip manufacturing or pharmaceutical, more manufacturing, more brick and mortar for pharmaceutical, more tier one related industry, including industry in automotive and various motors. The commitment by foreign investors in Europe and in Asia is off the charts. This is private sector. This is the golden goose. Under Donald Trump, over $18 trillion have been committed and are flowing into this nation, along with industry that is reshoring in this country. And all that requires construction of new metal buildings, of new office buildings, and homes for everybody working in those buildings. Yes, in the construction industry, there is a need for more labor. Yes, the immigration raids have wiped off the books a good chunk of the cash only, wink, wink, nod, nod, illegal immigrants working in this country. And the fastest way to get this done is to train our kids, our huercos, to erect these structures. And it's being done. One of the organizations that comes to mind is the South Texas Builders Association. Mario got bogged down in a meeting today. You're welcome to stop by, amigo. Mario Guerrero and the gang from South Texas Builders Association. So they're working with Donna. They're working with STC. On August, they kickstart a new program to teach our kids, a cohort, start teaching our huercos how to build, get in the construction business. It's about time. And had it not been, think about it. I know some of y'all are not very happy with the way things are going when it comes to the immigration raids and work stoppage. And it's a painful, necessary, and this is my opinion now, painful, necessary transition from the status quo that never solved immigration problems in this country to them a huevo by force, being forced now. And the fastest way to fix this is to get our kids to assume those jobs. And I want to congratulate the South Texas Builders Association for working with local school and local college to make it happen. Here we go, kids. We need a lot more of that. And with this, because of the demand, you can just imagine construction jobs, construction skills are at a premium. And you know what that means. ADP, the private employer, saying the wages are going up in the construction industry as expected. Time is 10:28. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. Thank you to our supporters this hour. Thank you to South Texas Buick GMC. Big thank you as well to Lone Star National Bank. Time is 10:32. This is the Sergio Show on 710 KURV. And we invite you to tune in for Astros baseball tonight. 8:10 broadcast on your station for Astros baseball, 710 KURV. They're with the Angels. They're in Anaheim. And this coming Friday will be a real test. I hope at the least, I hope they win the series with the Angels. I already forgot. They swept, who was it? I think it was, anyway, they swept on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then last week they swept a team, which is good because they needed to recover that. And then this weekend, they won 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. This coming weekend on Friday is the real test because they're in a racehorse with the Rangers, the Texas Rangers. So this coming Friday at 6:45. The Rangers go to Houston. So go Astros. We're now in the horse race going into August and into September, and Astros still have a chance. The bats are doing real strong. The trade deadline just around the corner. I hope they get more pitching. They need some solid pitching. I think the Astros are going to be just fine because the bats are doing pretty good right now. So Astros baseball on 710 KURV, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for men and women. Time is 10:33. We'll take a look at headlines and news up next. Big thank you to our supporters this hour, South Texas Buick GMC. Big thank you to Lone Star National Bank. We welcome you to the online broadcast. Radio Para Mí is the free app. Go listen there, and you can rewind any of the information that we dispense, any talk show at Radio Para Mí. New data on Texas school vouchers is providing supporters of school vouchers an argument to expand them in the 2027 legislative session.
79% were low income.
And then the remaining 21%.
New statistics show the plan is hitting its mark. More than 102,000 families were approved for education savings accounts, allowing them to pull their kids from public school and use their tax dollars to send them to a private school. 79% were low income.
And then the remaining 21% is going to children with disabilities.
Sherry Sylvester with the Texas Public Policy Foundation says the vouchers are working so well that next session, it's likely the program will be expanded. Michael Board, News Talk 710 KURV.
That is the people poll question for today. If you want to write a thesis on the 710 KURV Facebook page, just write a short comment on the x.com on the 710 KURV X page. Vote yes or no at KURV.com. Should the state of Texas expand its voucher program? The WhatsApp number for KURV, where you can send a message or write a message, 956-862-2482. See, if you're listening online, or do the rewind and get the number again. Data centers receiving many tax breaks from the state of Texas. Governor Greg Abbott has called for some of these tax breaks to be eliminated. State lawmakers will open hearings on the matter soon and expect to address this in the legislative session next year.
The law creating tax breaks for data centers dates all the way back to 2013. Then Governor Rick Perry signed House Bill 1223 into law, creating tax exemptions for qualifying large-scale data centers to attract them from other states, offering 10 and 15-year sales tax exemption deals for investments over $200 million and $250 million. It's grown from costing the state $14 million in 2014-2015 to a projected $3.3 billion for the 2028-29 biennium. The Senate Finance Committee is taking up the issue next week.
Proponents of incentives for data centers say that they generate billions of dollars in property taxes. Governor Abbott calling for tougher regulations meantime on data centers. He's hoping to shield residents from the rising cost of electricity. And now the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT have replied.
Back in June, Governor Abbott didn't mince words in telling the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT what he wanted.
We got to protect the grid by requiring data centers to bring their own power, reuse their own water, and lower the cost of electricity.
And now they've followed through, requiring data centers to pay for transmission infrastructure and contribute towards reducing residential electric bills. It also includes directives for the state legislature. The changes are being accepted by the industry, according to Dan Diorio. He's with the Data Center Coalition.
Member companies are already implementing many of the practices that the governor outlined.
Abbott with a statement saying these actions keep our electric bills affordable and protect the water our communities need. In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb in the news saying that the agency, the FDA, does not yet have the cyclosporiasis outbreak under control.
He said during an appearance on Face the Nation that while the FDA has done well in tracing the issue to central Mexico and specific farms, the situation remains unresolved. Gottlieb added that officials cannot be certain the identified growing region is the only source of contamination. Federal and state investigators have linked iceberg lettuce from central Mexico to almost 2,000 cyclospora cases across 9 states. Those affected states include Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. I'm Mark Mayfield.
A federal judge in Virginia is ordering the FDA to review restrictions on a drug used to terminate early pregnancies.
3 states filed a lawsuit in 2023 after the agency put restrictions on the drug mifepristone. Last week's ruling says the FDA's actions were unlawful and says a more thorough review must be done. A federal judge in Hawaii issued a similar ruling in October, calling the restrictions arbitrary. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Bizarre story from Seattle. Two men accused of parachuting off Seattle's Space Needle.
According to police, the men entered the popular attraction with purchased tickets and were captured on camera at the top level of the needle before entering a restroom. The two reportedly emerged wearing helmets, jumped over the glass, and leaped off the Space Needle. The search for the suspects remain ongoing. I'm Lisa Carton.
Yeah, it's probably something you saw on social media earlier this morning. Brinks Home, the security company, and yes, they do operate in the Valley. Brinks Home is warning customers to stay alert following a cyber attack on their HQ in North Texas.
The company, based in Farmers Branch, says hackers gained unauthorized access to part of its IT systems and are now threatening to release information taken during the breach. Company officials say they are now working with cybersecurity experts to determine the scope of the attack. Brinks Home says its alarm monitoring services remain fully operational and say there is no indication as of now that home security products or customer personal information were impacted. Customers are being urged to watch for suspicious emails, text messages, and phone calls requesting personal information, as officials say they will never ask customers to provide sensitive information through unsolicited messages.
It's 10:43 on News Talk 710 KURV. No break? Okay, fine. Now you can fill it here in just a little bit. Let me give you a couple more. That's fine. An indictment unsealed against 11 people accused in the smuggling deaths of 7 illegal immigrants.
6 victims, including a 14-year-old boy, were found dead in a shipping container from a train car in a rail yard in Laredo last May. Another was left for dead near the track along the way in San Antonio.
One of those individuals frantically contacted their family as they were dying from the sweltering heat in that container.
Justin R. Simmons, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, says each of them paid between $1,500 and $10,000 only to die in the heat. 2 defendants are still at large. Simmons says the message is, don't come into the country illegally. You could die on the way. And if you make it across and into a stash house, criminal organizations can and will abuse you and extort your family members.
It's 10:44 on the Valley's Morning News. There's a big egg recall affecting restaurants and some supermarkets.
Midwest Poultry Services has issued a voluntary recall of nearly 1.6 million eggs distributed through Kroger and Brookshire's grocery stores following potential salmonella exposure. The affected inventory includes both standard white shell and brown cage-free eggs produced between June 6th and July 3rd, featuring expiration dates extending into mid-August. The recall impacts 6 states: Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi. Consumers can identify recalled products by checking for a code on their cartons reading P1950 or 0840962. So far, no illnesses related to the recalled eggs have been confirmed.
Edinburgh CISD Board of Trustees, they need a second round to try to figure out who they want to hire as superintendent. So they met on Saturday for several hours and no go. So they will now have to conduct a second round of interviews, and Adele Felix will continue serving as interim superintendent at Edinburgh CISD. And let's see here. Carlos Bertran, Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent have been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Time is 10:45. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour of the program, a service of South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank.